Dead air. I used to think a small-town radio station at night was all knobs and loneliness. Lights low, the board warm under your wrists, a red on-air light that makes the room feel like a promise. I'm 25, the graveyard host on AM 1370 with a simulcast on a sleepy FM. My job is simple: read weather, play ads on time, ride the faders, and never take line 3 after midnight. The engineer's superstition: keep the 7-second delay armed all night. If you dump once, leave it dumped. Don't open Studio B if Studio A is live. He laughed like it was a story. The laugh didn't stick. By 11:08 p.m., I'd signed on the midnight block, killed the lobby fluorescents, and put the tower beacon log by the keyboard. The transmitter remote on the wall blinked steady green. The printer next to the board chattered and spit an extra EAS-looking strip I didn't request. Do not take line 3, sir. Sorry. No header, no station call. A gray timestamp along the edge said 3:13. The wall clock said 11:09. I taped the strip above line 3 like a joke you keep where you can see it. The first odd thing was polite. 2 soft taps Mars on the studio glass from the hallway side. Knuckles measured. I looked up and saw only myself looking up a half beat late in the reflection. The on-air light made twin red squares that felt like eyes. I rolled into weather, hit the cold open, and let a song carry the next 3 minutes. In the cue speaker, dead unless I push talkback, a breath came through like a person practicing. Then a voice, careful, lowering each word into place. Leave. The delay. The cue light stayed dark. I kept my hands where hands look trustworthy. The phone bank lit. Line 1. A trucker somewhere on 94 who likes to tell me where the deer are. I punched it, screened him, set him on hold. Line 3. Lit and pulsed. The caller ID said, unknown. I ignored it. Edges damp, like the words had sweated under the blade. At 11:27, the hallway card reader ticked like a tongue against teeth and went still. I checked the lobby camera. Empty vestibule. A hint of my reflection in the glass over the door. For one frame, the camera emulsion smeared a hand, 5 long ovals, and a round heel on the inside of the lobby pane. Then nothing. I took line 1. Hank from the interstate told a story about a coyote that looked both ways before crossing, like it knew radio. He laughed into his own echo while he talked. Line 3. Lit, went dark, lit again, a heartbeat late, like it was learning a rhythm. The delay meter ticked in that small, reassuring way that makes you believe in electricity. The song file queued up wrong and corrected itself. Something titled, Idden Old. WAV appeared where a bumper should be, then removed itself. We don't keep the old jingles since the rebrand. The hard drive sometimes remembers it's dead. Just after midnight, the transmitter remote flashed. Low mod, and then steady. The tower camera, grainy, showed cold sky. Beacon steady. My own booth window reflected faintly, like a second tower lived at my back. I leaned into the mic for the legal ID, and in the glass saw the door behind me. Paused half an inch open and close, with a soft weather strip kiss. I hadn't moved. The board's talkback button clicked under my finger without me pushing. You hearing this? The cue speaker asked in my engineer's voice, except the syllables dragged like they'd been carried a long way. Don't take 3. I read a PSA to prove sentences still worked, played 2 ads, reset the stinger. The phone rang the studio line directly, bypassing the board, and displayed, this caller cannot be verified. I let it roll to voicemail and listened. as the system transcribed in real time. Dawn to take line 3. Dawn to take line 3. In my own cadence. At 12:19, line 3 rang with a little aggression, 3 quick pulses, and a hold. Against the engineer's superstition, against the strip on my board, against the better story, I punched it and didn't say hello. Static. A near mic breath. Then my name, in my voice. But the way I sound when I am trying to convince a caller, I am listening. I am here. The consonants landed like footsteps down an empty hall. I hung up, played a record, and told my heart to wait its turn. The on-air light blinked and held. From the Studio B door window, black square to my right, 2 knuckles, tapped glass, measured. Studio B is off, I said to nobody. The door handle turned a hair and settled. I pulled the deadbolt. The handle loosened like a sleeper scratching an itch. At 12:37, the automation tried to back cue the top of the hour. The top wasn't for 23 minutes. The screen flashed a card I've never seen. Confirm live remote from dash where a town should be. The delay meter hiccuped and then behaved like it hadn't. A listener texted the station, SMS. Is the laugh track supposed to be on? I wasn't running anything with laughter. In my headphones came a soft, not laugh that sounded like a loop so short it remembered being a sound and then forgot. I was about to kill Ida Old Wav from the playlist entirely when line 3 rang again and kept ringing. I watched it the way you watch a thing pretend to be a thing. We're not taking 3, I said, into the empty room. The new sentence that felt like policy. The printer spit a third strip into my palm. Dawn to open B. The time on the wall clock stuttered to 3:13 and corrected to 12:41. While I read it, the Motor Q speaker breathed in and out, matching me for sport. The lobby camera showed the door sheeted with a tiny fog. Someone had breathed a circle and written it down an inch, leaving nothing written. The Freistory tower camera captured a frame of my booth glass with Buri, a head turned toward my neck instead of toward the board, mouth parted as if it had reached the first half of Dante and didn't want to try the rest. At 1:06, the whole building decided to make one sound. Not quieter. Aligned. HVAC, transformer in the rack room, the bulb in the on-air sign. They breathed on the same beat. In that held chord, line 3 Pro stopped ringing and simply stayed lit, steady, a patient little eye. The delay line clicked as if a hand had rested on it. Politely, I stared at the dump button, the red mushroom that kills the last 7 seconds, and imagined myself a hero in the smallest sense. Press it now and remember how to breathe. Later. My thumb hovered. The talkback clicked itself open. Leave. The delay, the cue said, like a bedtime story in a hospital voice. I didn't press anything. I let the song end and back announced into the small of my own neck. We got calls. I lied to an audience of insomniacs and truckers. We'll get to 'em. The meter ticked its mercy. At 1:22, the Studio B on-air light, disconnected since spring, flicked once and kept a small red ember. The door S viewing pane clouded from the inside, with 5 oval prints and a round heel. A ma tap tap landed from behind it, precise as punctuation. Neck. No, said, and my mouth sounded older than my face. B is closed. The music quit for a breath, the way a throat catches. A voice came through the music, and under it, My engineer's cadence, my laugh stuck in it, a caller from last week, a blend like a bad composite. Do not take line 3. The phones, all mod double tapped, their ring relays in chorus, and went still. I took line 1 again. Hank said he'd lost the westbound and didn't mind. He told a story about a rest stop owl that looked like a god. Over his voice, in a small echo just in my headphones, my own back announce from 9 minutes ago walked one step behind me, word for word, half a beat late. At 1:41, the printer spat a final strip, edges damp, leave delay armed. The studio glass felt colder near my ear, as if a head had pressed the other side to listen carefully and learned something. Outside in the hallway, the lobby bell chimed twice without the door opening, the polite two-tap of a human who believes in counters. I decided Dawn can be persuaded if you behave. The board stayed live, the delay stayed armed. When reportage, line 3, lit again at 3:13, because some hours volunteer and call from numbers that are also names. I watched it and did nothing. The on-air bulb pulsed once with the tower beacon, as if to practice for a thunderstorm, and returned to steady. Morning unstitched the quiet. The day host came in with a thermos and a voice that's coffee and a human. He scanned my log with a summer morning face. Quiet? He asked. Mostly, I said, and palmed him the strips. He frowned at, do not take line 3, like it was a song he didn't to remember recording. Printer's old, he decided, which is the spell we use when we don't have a better one. In the lobby, the glass showed no breath, and the Studio B light stayed brain dead like it has for months. I moved to afternoons 2 weeks later. I tell people it's better for my sleep. At night in my apartment, sometimes the radiator double taps on like phone relays, and my phone flicks to 3:13. And back even when I am off the grid. Some nights, I hear the small warm buzz of an on-air sign in a room that isn't mine. When it does, I keep the bedroom door shut and my hands away from anything that wants a button. And I say, in the steady voice the board taught me, delay stays armed. For a long, thin moment, the apartment breathes on the same beat as the tower I don't work for anymore. The room cools at the ear like glass against listening, and whatever waits half a beat behind my voice, head tilted, mouth parting on the first half of don't, looks for a station with worse policies and lets the rest of the hour pass in honest noise.
If you survived this far, leave your like to prove you are not afraid.